The global nuclear landscape presents a complex and multifaceted reality. It is a domain defined by a delicate balance between deterrence and the ever-present potential for conflict. This intricate web of power dynamics carries the profound and ever-present threat of catastrophic consequences. Understanding the current players and potential future scenarios is therefore crucial for global stability and security. 5 nations are formally recognized as nuclear weapon states under the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. These established nuclear powers include the United States, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, and France. Each possesses significant arsenals of nuclear weapons, forming the bedrock of their national security strategies. Their primary strategic doctrine has historically been mutually assured destruction, commonly known as MAD. This strategy posits that a nuclear exchange would result in devastating consequences for all parties involved. MAD aims to render any first strike suicidal, thereby preventing the initiation of nuclear attacks by any state. The logic dictates that no nation would launch an attack knowing it would lead to its own annihilation. However, the MAD doctrine faces increasing challenges in the contemporary geopolitical environment. Its effectiveness fundamentally relies on the assumption of rational actors making calculated decisions. It also depends heavily on clear and uninterrupted communication channels between adversaries. These foundational factors are increasingly being questioned and challenged in the current global climate. The erosion of trust and the rise of misperception can undermine the stability MAD seeks to provide. Furthermore, the development of new weapon technologies introduces complexities not fully accounted for in the original doctrine. The reliance on a purely rational framework may not always hold true in moments of extreme crisis or political instability. The sheer destructive power of these arsenals demands constant vigilance and strategic foresight. The established nuclear powers bear a unique responsibility in maintaining global peace and preventing proliferation. Their actions and policies significantly shape the broader international security environment. Beyond the 5 recognized nuclear weapon states, several other nations possess nuclear capabilities. These include India, Pakistan, and North Korea, each having developed their own nuclear arsenals outside the framework of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Their emergence introduces new variables and significant risks into the global nuclear equation. The presence of these additional nuclear states contributes to increased regional instability. Tensions between nuclear-armed neighbors such as India and Pakistan carry the potential for rapid escalation. Any conflict, even conventional, could theoretically spiral into a nuclear confrontation. A heightened risk of miscalculation is another critical complication. Without the established communication protocols and long-standing deterrence frameworks of the Cold War era, the chances of accidental or unintended escalation are greater. This is particularly true in regions with ongoing territorial disputes or historical animosities. The proliferation risk also intensifies with more states possessing nuclear weapons. The more countries that have these capabilities, the higher the chance of nuclear materials or technology falling into unauthorized hands. This raises serious concerns about the potential for further horizontal proliferation. The motivations for these nations to pursue nuclear programs are complex and varied. National security concerns often play a primary role, driven by perceived threats from regional adversaries or larger global powers. Nuclear weapons are seen as the ultimate deterrent against aggression. Regional power dynamics also significantly influence these decisions. Acquiring nuclear capabilities can be a means to assert regional dominance or to balance the power of a neighboring state. This pursuit of strategic parity can lead to dangerous arms races within specific geographic areas. Understanding these motivations is crucial for developing effective non-proliferation strategies. Addressing underlying security concerns and fostering regional stability are key to mitigating the risks posed by emerging nuclear powers. Their integration into broader arms control discussions remains a significant challenge. Several critical factors are currently contributing to a landscape of profound uncertainty regarding nuclear weapons. The erosion of arms control treaties stands out as a primary concern. The termination of agreements like the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, or INF Treaty, has removed crucial limitations on weapon development and deployment. This dismantling of established arms control frameworks creates a vacuum that could lead to an unconstrained arms race. Without agreed-upon limits, nations may feel compelled to develop new weapon systems to maintain perceived parity or superiority. This environment fosters distrust and reduces predictability in strategic planning. The modernization of nuclear arsenals by various powers further exacerbates these concerns. This includes the development of new delivery systems, such as hypersonic missiles, which challenge existing early warning and defense capabilities. It also involves the creation of new warhead designs, potentially with lower yields or enhanced capabilities. Such modernization efforts raise serious questions about the future of strategic stability. They could lower the threshold for nuclear use by making certain scenarios seem more winnable or less catastrophic. This development risks igniting a new arms race, potentially involving more sophisticated and destabilizing technologies. Finally, the rise of non-state actors poses a unique and terrifying threat. The potential for nuclear terrorism, where a terrorist group acquires or constructs a nuclear device, is a nightmare scenario. Such an event would have devastating consequences and fundamentally alter the global security landscape. Preventing nuclear materials from falling into the wrong hands is a paramount international security objective. The global community must enhance efforts to secure fissile materials and prevent their illicit trafficking. The decentralized nature of non-state actors makes traditional deterrence strategies ineffective against them. These converging factors paint a picture of increasing complexity and danger. The established norms and frameworks that have governed nuclear weapons for decades are under unprecedented strain. Navigating this uncertain future requires careful consideration and proactive measures. Considering the current trajectory, several potential future scenarios for the nuclear landscape emerge. One possibility is the continuation of the current path, characterized by increased tensions and a heightened risk of miscalculation. This scenario could see a gradual erosion of the nuclear taboo, making the use of these weapons seem less unthinkable. In this trajectory, the absence of robust arms control agreements could lead to an unbridled arms race. Nations might invest heavily in new nuclear capabilities, further destabilizing international relations. Regional conflicts could become more dangerous, with the nuclear option looming larger. Alternatively, there is the potential for renewed diplomatic efforts and arms control initiatives. This scenario could stabilize the situation and significantly reduce the risk of nuclear war. It would require a concerted effort from major powers to re-engage in dialogue and build trust. Such efforts might involve negotiating new treaties to limit weapon development and deployment. They could also focus on enhancing transparency and verification measures to build confidence among nuclear states. A return to multilateralism in arms control would be a positive step. However, predicting the future of the nuclear landscape is inherently difficult due to the complexities of the international system. Geopolitical shifts, technological advancements, and the actions of individual leaders can all profoundly impact the trajectory. The inherent dangers of nuclear weapons mean that even small missteps can have catastrophic consequences. The interplay of these factors makes any definitive prediction challenging. The path forward is not predetermined, but rather shaped by the decisions and policies enacted by states and international organizations. The choices made today will determine the nuclear reality of tomorrow. The profound responsibility of managing nuclear arsenals rests squarely on the shoulders of nuclear powers. Their decisions and actions have global ramifications, impacting the security and well-being of all nations. This responsibility demands the highest levels of wisdom and restraint. To mitigate the risks associated with these arsenals, several priorities must be embraced. First, prioritizing diplomacy is essential to de-escalate tensions and resolve disputes peacefully. Open channels of communication are vital to prevent misunderstandings and miscalculations. Second, transparency in nuclear doctrines and capabilities can foster trust and reduce suspicion among states. Sharing information about arsenals and intentions can help prevent destabilizing arms races. This openness builds confidence and predictability in strategic relations. Third, arms control remains a critical tool for managing nuclear risks. Negotiating and adhering to treaties that limit the production and deployment of nuclear weapons is paramount. These agreements provide a framework for stability and reduce the likelihood of conflict. The ultimate goal must be to mitigate the risks associated with these devastating arsenals. The future of the world depends on the collective wisdom and restraint of those who possess these weapons. The stakes are simply too high to fail in this endeavor. That was just one story. There are hundreds more. Hit subscribe and let history blow your mind. Thanks for watching.